Hello, everybody. I want to start off by welcoming you to our Second Amendment rally in Warren County. And because it is the season, I do want to go ahead and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, or whatever your beliefs may be, because it is the season. We never want to forget that particular bit. My name is Ross McVey. Quite honestly, this is going to be my first time in a public speaking forum such as this, but I appreciate, again, all of you citizens coming out here. And because we are American citizens, we're going to open up this event with probably the first thing to remind us about that, and that's going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everybody please remove your headgear? Turn, and we have a flag right next to the Christmas tree here, and let's go ahead and begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with life, liberty, for all. Okay, the next thing is, I'm not sure where the gentleman is right this moment.
Right here.
Okay, come up here, sir. We're going to, because again, in our country, we do have a strong Judeo-Christian value, we are going to have a moment of prayer that we're going to be led in here. Sir?
Please bow your head as I pray. Heavenly Father, first let me say thank you on behalf of all who are gathered here this evening. Thank you for your many and abundant blessings. You've led this country providentially since its inception. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our callings, for sustenance and for friendship. Thank you that we can still gather in public in this country without fear of an oppressive government or tyranny of any sort, limiting our right to peacefully gather to explore ways to retain the blessings we've received for over 240 years. Blessings that we believe you've granted because we are a nation founded on biblical principles and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal and deserve the God-given right to life, liberty, and the peaceful pursuit of happiness. There are those, some perhaps well-intentioned, that would propose infringing upon or denying our God-given right to protect ourselves against those that would do us harm. We gather tonight to loudly proclaim that we will not back down, we will not back off, and we will insist that our governments, our city, county, state, and federal, protect our God-given right to self-defense and our ability to protect our family, friends, and country. We ask your blessing, Father, that this gathering will be peaceful, that we will conduct ourselves in a manner that you would approve of, and that we will effectively demonstrate as a community not only our resolve to maintain our Second Amendment rights, but also our support for our local officials that are charged with the responsibility for our safety and for the protection of those God-given and constitutionally guaranteed rights to defend ourselves. In the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming here. As we've already alluded to the fact that you as the citizens are here are the most important group of people that we have. We can't forget that we have some other people that are here too that are making this possible for us. If I miss somebody, please help me out to make sure I recognize everybody, because this is a very quick impromptu event that we're getting this happening here. To start off with, I would like to thank the chairman of the Warren County Republican Party, because with his help, we were able to get this going. I am not affiliated directly with any party, but I know that the party that has been here to help me the most in this particular subject is the Republican Party, and I want to thank them. I also like to recognize, if we can get them by show of hands here, all of the people that are in some sort of elected office right now. By the way, I want to emphasize real quickly on that. Not everybody could be here for reasons we have several rallies like this are going throughout the state, throughout the Shenandoah Valley area and so forth. So we have people here, or there are people that have made statements that we know of their support. But again, raise your hand high. We've got a current member of the Board of Supervisors here. Sir, I'm not, you're with?
Virginia House of Delegates.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't recognize the face. Yes, we got Mr. Webert here. Yes, thank you, sir. My apologies, I gotta get my glasses cleaned here.
I had a hat on.
Okay, so we are having representation that we have at this level. I will tell you personally that we talked, with others that are supportive needs from the law enforcement community, and we definitely appreciate their views and values that we have on this subject right now. The other group that we should just remind ourselves, remember, is veterans. How many of you out there have served in some capacity with the Armed Forces of the United States? And if you did, I bet you to say you can remember the fact that you took an oath when you started service. And in that oath, it told you there were certain things that you were going to do. Support and defend the Constitution against enemies, both foreign and domestic. It also said we will obey orders of those appointed above us. So we are in a total agreement of those particular points that we want to have right now. The other thing is, I want to make sure people understand, I'm pretty sure to say we're all conservatives of some sort of imagine. But maybe we have some people that have different values and views in there. That doesn't mean that's bad. That just means they have different. So this whole rally is not about every other issue that is out there, and there are some very serious ones that are going to be going to Richmond. This is about one particular element, and that is the Second Amendment. And our right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed from what we have right now as the current law in Virginia. Some of you may be like me, a news junkie. That's the only kind of thing that I get my wild highs off of, it being a news junkie. And I hate to fall and see all the different things that are going on. And literally in the past couple of days from when we first talked about doing this rally, there have been a continuum of events on and on that are happening. And in there, I want to highlight one thing to start off with right now is this. Maybe you saw it. The Attorney General Mark Herring on Thursday had talking about what we're doing here with this Second Amendment thing. He said this is nothing more than an expression of opposition to what is going to be happening in the General Assembly. He goes on in there to talk about that when the General Assembly passes it in the upcoming session, those laws are going to be enforced and they will be followed. Some of the news outlets did show that the ending of that news conference that he had there, and in there he talked in there that I really want to point out a thing there. He said, when he talked to sheriffs and other law enforcement people, he asked the questioner, you don't want violent felons to have guns, right? How many heard that particular comment being made? I heard it. And it's in the biggest chills that I've had this entire event down my back. It was cynical. Who are the felons he's talking about? Is it going to be you if you don't comply with his law? You are the new felons. This is no different than evil statements been made in the past. I was talking to some other people out here before. I remember the cynical words over one of the horrific places in Europe, Dachau. Arbeit and Macht frei, work sets you free. It was cynical because you could not escape the tyranny of that Nazi regime. So are you going to be the felons because he's now decided? That's how cynical this statement was. We are not going to be. This is why we are rallying.
He can come knock on the door. They've done what?
The other article I want to talk about literally came out this afternoon, and I want to thank Roger Blanchie. Is he here in the audience by chance?
Bianchini.
Bettine, excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm not good at my names apparently, but is he here tonight? I want to thank him for his article that he wrote. In there and all that, he kind of was trying to take point by point all the different bills that we are going to have, and he was basically saying that we were kind of evil there. That's how I got there. But I want to thank him, and I also want to thank Nancy Pelosi last week for something she said. I don't hate my enemies. I will pray for Roger now and forever that he will come to understand why we are here. I am praying that all those people in Richmond will come to their senses, because I don't hate. Hate is something that's too strong. But I do dislike what they're trying to do to us at this point in time. There was a famous German pastor that was held in Dachau, of all places. His name was Martin Niemöller. And he wrote something afterwards because he was a pacifist from his experience. The irony was he had started off as a Nazi, but he had saw the horrors of what they did. And I guarantee you probably heard his words where he said, first they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a socialist. Then they came for the trade unions, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews. I was not a Jew, and I did not speak out. Then they came for me, and there was nobody there. I'm going to try to do a little bit of wordsmithing onto his stuff there, and I'm going to try to get it to this, what his words today mean to me. First, they came for the black scary guns. I didn't own any scary guns, so it didn't affect me. Then they came for the rest of the guns. I didn't have any guns, so it didn't affect me. Then they came for the knives. I didn't have any scary knives. Then they came for free speech. I didn't have anything to hide for what I said. Then they came for us, and there's going to be nobody there. It is important that we stand up, and I hoard you for that particular bit. Before we get our first other speaker to come up here, in which Steve's going to have to tell me which one he wants to have first, I also want to emphasize some other groups that we have here. We have got some citizens from the county that have set up some petitions back here. Please sign them. Put your John Hancock so that the Attorney General can see your name clearly, who you are, and standing up to what's going on. Also, too, we have help that's going on from the Virginia Citizens Defense League. Real quickly, how many of you are members of the Virginia Citizens Defense League? You've been to a gun show and you've seen their booth, or you've seen something online about them? How many of you are actual members? I'm going to bring up to you about two things on that need to identify. Number one, thank you for being the members. Number two, get all your friends that aren't members to join up. And I'm going to throw a third one because I like to do that. Money. This fight is going to cost money. And like everything, nothing is for free. Your freedom isn't free. It's not going to be free. They're going to need help because there's a long fight ahead, and they're going to need your help. The other thing about Virginia Citizens Defense League, every year they go down to Richmond, and on your day that you can speak to your elected representatives, they ask that we come and show up to help spread the message. It's called Lobby Day. How many of you are familiar with Lobby Day? I see a lot of hands. How many of you show up for Lobby Day? Ooh, it's been that tough thing, I know. And I can tell you right now, there's times, yes, I haven't been there, and I feel guilty that I haven't been there. I am going to ask you, I'm going to beg you, this year, more than any other time in your life, please come to Richmond on the 20th of January so that when the governor sits up on the other side and he looks down, he sees people. He sees us. We had 500 or so the last one. We need 5,000. We need 10,000 there. There's over 100,000 plus people with concealed carry permits in Virginia. It should be possible to get. But I am asking you, I am begging you to mark your calendars now for Lobby Day. Please come, because if we don't show them in Richmond, we mean business. God knows what they're going to do with some of these bills. With that being said, sir, who would you like to have the first one come up here? You probably know Mr. Murray better than I do and all that. I will tell you this and all that. My first time ever meeting him was, in fact, the last Board of Supervisors meeting, which I squeamishly got up there to say something, and he allowed me to speak, which I am very grateful for. And the most important thing that I was wanting to emphasize is we need the support of our elected leaders. It's not just a grassroots, we do need their support. And sir, thank you very much for supporting us on the Second Amendment.
Good evening. It's great to see like-minded brothers and sisters standing here tonight. This Second Amendment means a lot to me. My grandson has served 9 deployments in the last 12 and a half years. To my 2 family members buried at Arlington. To my best friend whose name's etched in the granite wall. We need to defend the veterans out here. Think about your oath. That oath is something you carry for life, not just when you wear a uniform. Raise your hands and promise that you will live to that oath that you took. I took my oath and I brought my separation papers here. I took my oath in 1966, May the 10th. 29 years, 1 month, 15 days later, I separated. But I never gave up my right to carry. I got it on my hip now. When I chair the board meetings, I sit at the dais with my gun. Because you never know what nut is out there. And we have a right to defend ourselves. And if we give up the right to defend ourselves, we're fools. Our country is being attacked from within, not without. From within. And it's because we're too quiet. We key in on the wrong things. I'm comfortable. I got a TV show to watch. Hell, the Eagles are playing today. You know what? Throw that stuff away. I haven't watched a ball game since they took a knee. And I'll never watch it till they stand. Please, my brothers and sisters in arms that have served, raise your hands and bow your heads. Lord, bless these heroes that are alive and amongst us. Let them support, defend, and change this country. Let's get away from the hypocrisies that we live with, the internal fighting amongst ourselves, and let us live as brothers and sisters, proud, standing tall, flying the flag from your home, and never ashamed to say that you serve the United States of America. God bless you.
And our next speaker, come on, Mike. From the House of Delegates there, Mr. Webert, thank you very much. And again, as a strong supporter of the Second Amendment, I've seen you before there. I forgot all about it, but yes, I saw you this last that thing we had in July. So
yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Well, first of all, good evening. It's cold. Thanks for warming up the crowd, Dan. Appreciate it.
I think somebody's stealing one of your cows.
Yes. My name is Michael Webert, and I've represented the 18th District in the House of Delegates for the last 8 years.
Thank you, Mike.
And for the last 8 years, I have literally sat on the front lines. I've sat and watched as year after year, folks come to try and take our right to defend ourselves in the name of safety, in the name of whatever else they can think of. For 8 years, the last 2 years running, I've been the #1 person on VCDL's list, defending your right to be able to protect yourself. You see, many don't realize that oftentimes out in rural Virginia, the nearest sheriff's deputy is 15 to 20 minutes at best. And I'm sorry, but if somebody's coming into my home, they will be met with superior firepower.
Yeah.
And it's my right to be able to defend my home as I see fit, particularly in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Think about it. Our Commonwealth, the House of Delegates, the very entity that I sit in, is 400 years old. I walk into the same building that Thomas Jefferson designed, that presidents walked in, that the House of Delegates, they ratified the Constitution. They ratified the Virginia Constitution. Article 1, Section 13 of the Virginia Constitution makes it very explicit that it is right for the individual to be able to arm themselves, and that shall not be infringed. And it is based on freedom and liberty. And that's why I'm actually here to thank you. I'm here to thank you for peacefully assembling, as is our God-given right, to petition our government, our grievances. And our grievances right now are that one party is going to put forward legislation that will inhibit our right to protect ourselves, protect our children, protect our wives, husbands. And so I commend you. I commend you for not rioting in the streets when somebody gets elected. I commend you for talking to your Board of Supervisors, sending us emails, and telling us what we need to do. And I am here to pledge to you that as I have for the last 8 years, I will continue to defend your right to protect yourselves. I will continue to defend your liberty and your freedom. That is what you entrusted me to do. That is what you elected me to do. And very much like the veterans in here, I took an oath to uphold the Constitution and the Virginia Constitution, both of which make it explicitly clear that our right to bear arms shall not be infringed. Yeah. Period. So while we assemble here today, I have a request. And that request is this. Continue to petition your Board of Supervisors. Because those elected officials that say that they will stand and uphold the Constitution, I will continue to stand with them. And tell them, give them strength. They need you right now. They need to know that you all are behind them when they vote. And then, as it was said here on the lobby day, but not just lobby day, come to Richmond. You're welcome. It's your capital. You're the taxpayers. You're the citizens. It is your place. Feel free anytime during session that we are in Richmond to come see us. Tell us what you think. We want to hear from you. I want you there. I want you to tell me where you stand on issues. And on this issue, I love seeing all these people because you are with me and I am with you in a single cause. So on lobby day, fill the halls.
Yes.
Fill the halls.
Do it.
And let everybody know where you are. Because I sure will. Not only that, but contact our office, contact Delegate Collins' office, contact Delegate Gilbert's office, and Senator Obenshain. Because all three of those gentlemen feel the same way that I do, and they feel the same way that you do. And they are there to defend your liberty as well. So thank you very much for having me. Feel free to contact us. but also know that I am going to Richmond to defend your rights and your individual liberty. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, and we appreciate everything you do. Okay.
We like you anyway.
Okay.
Fire the crowd back up.
Yeah, fired up.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of firepower out there. I got mine showing. I'm not ashamed of it. We have a consensus of the board that we're going to support the resolution. I should have said that, but I got a little worked up. But the board is going to support the resolution.
Again, thank you very much for the support that you will be giving us. Amber, come on up here.
Thanks.
By the way, when we were first starting to get everything together, Amber was one of the first points of contact that was working with, because we got to have the money there to make things happen. And she attended some meetings there, and she's been in some other the Facebook forums, and she's been a great help getting this going on with being able to have this event today. Here you go.
Thank you, Ross. Thank you for all your help. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Amber Morris, the Vice Chair of the Warren County Republican Committee, and I thank you all for coming out tonight. If you see this Warren County Right to Keep and Bear Arms Second Amendment shirt, we are having those as a fundraiser for the cost of hosting this tonight. So there's a table back there with merchandise for Warren County Second Amendment stuff if you have a chance to check that out. Are you guys fired up? Because you've been pretty quiet other than when Chairman Dan spoke and got you all fired up. And we're here because we're fired up. Thank you. This great nation that we live in was created and fought for with the blood of patriots who put their lives and the lives of their families on the line for all of us and our futures. They did this under the premise that government needed to be held in check and that individual liberty and the people collectively were the resolution of its power. If these patriots did not have access to their own arms to fight a tyrannical government, none of this would have been possible. We would all still be subjects to a king. I want to welcome and thank each and every one of you truly, I know it's been said multiple times, for coming out this evening to join and support us as we fight to save our Second Amendment constitutional rights from the ultimate demise. Tonight, you'll hear from a few more speakers and elected officials regarding the detrimental impacts that these laws will have on our community and our rights. Not only will they make us less safe, but they will strip you of any liberty you have on how you decide to protect yourself and your families. We must support our Commonwealth Attorney, our sheriff, and law enforcement officers who will be on the front line here in Warren County, defending us from a rash of gun-grabbing, gun controllers that try to force their will on the people of Warren County. Right. It's important that we stay strong, we stay together and united in Warren County against these regulations on our freedoms. We need to send a strong message to Richmond tonight that we will never compromise our liberty to defend ourselves or the freedoms that our founders and veterans fought for. And lastly, I just want to add, if they want our guns, they can come and get them.
Hell yeah!
Good job, Amber. Great.
Woo! Get them fired up there. Okay, who are we gonna get next to come on?
Tyler Adams from Ben Cline.
Okay, come on up here.
Congressman Cline.
By the way, late today and all that, we're going to have a representative for Congressman Ben Cline. I was pleased to see that our representative is standing with us here, because I know it's a tough issue, but I'm very proud of the fact that he is doing just that. Here you are, sir.
Yes, sir. Hi, I'm Tyler Adams. I'm here, Congressman Cline's political director, and he is in D.C. today. You may have seen him on the TV fighting in the Judiciary Committee for the impeachment hearings to fight for justice in that. So he sent me as his representative to read this statement that he put out in support of your efforts to defend your gun rights, and I'll just go ahead and read it for you. To the citizens of Warren County, I am thrilled to see the groundswell of support in Warren County and across the Commonwealth in support of our Second Amendment rights to keep and bear arms. When Virginia debated whether or not to ratify the United States Constitution, our representatives insisted that the right to keep and bear arms was an essential liberty given to them by their Creator, and through their efforts, the Second Amendment was enshrined in the Constitution as part of the Bill of Rights. It would be a tragedy if our elected officials in Richmond were now to seek gun controls that dismantled the very protections established by their predecessors. Both in Richmond and as a delegate, and now in Washington as your congressman, I have made it my top priority to stand strong in defense of your Second Amendment rights. I was proud to chair the Committee on Militia Police and Public Safety in Richmond, where we were undefeated in our efforts to stop gun control measures. As a member of the House Judiciary Committee in Congress, I fought the Democrats' gun control bill earlier this year, successfully adding language that amounted to a poison pill for many of them and reducing the chances of it passing in the Senate. Your God-given liberties cannot be taken away by the actions of men. They can only be suppressed. Speak loudly with one voice, and the incoming legislature in Richmond will hear you just as your Board of Supervisors hears you tonight. By expressing your First Amendment right to free speech here tonight, you better ensure that your Second Amendment rights will be protected in Richmond next month. I stand with you, the people of Warren County, and I stand with all those who defended our beloved Constitution. God bless you, and God bless the United States. Best regards, Ben Cline.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have a new elected official that is going to be getting ready to speak to us, and he's probably one of the most important people of the three corners of what needs to be the substance of any response we have. And that's going to be our new Attorney General, Mr. John Bell.
Thank you. Now, being a lawyer, I'm going to correct him. I am the Commonwealth's attorney-elect. Here in Virginia, the chief law enforcement officer for the county is the Commonwealth's attorney. Those of you who come from other states, think district attorney. That's my office. That's what I'm going to be doing. And my office is where the rubber meets the road on enforcement of laws. I've got a few remarks, but before I get to my remarks, while I was checking the Facebook feed here, I noticed a letter from my own delegate, Todd Gilbert. Warren County is blessed by having 3 General Assembly delegates. I don't know that gives us 3 times the weight in the General Assembly as other counties, but it should. But Mr. Gilbert wrote I think a very important letter to the Board of Shenandoah County, which is going to be considering a similar resolution. And I've spoken to Todd personally. I know he's speaking from the heart when he writes this. Dear sirs, I write to you today in support of a strong and meaningful resolution to help protect the Second Amendment rights of our shared constituents. Law-abiding gun owners are rightfully frightened and angry about current proposed legislation that would, among other things, make them choose between giving up many of their lawfully purchased, commonly owned, and constitutionally protected firearms and firearms accessories, or being considered a criminal. While localities might be limited by the General Assembly in their ability to pass ordinances that conflict with state law, this issue is not ultimately a state issue. Fundamentally, this is a constitutional issue, and the law-abiding citizens who come in support of this resolution are asking you to stand with them and effectively remind the state that it is too limited in its authority when it comes to violating a constitutionally protected individual right. Furthermore, they are asking you to do everything within your power, both symbolically and substantively, to reject any such unconstitutional state overreach which would infringe upon their rights to protect themselves and their families as they see fit. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, C. Todd Gilbert, Member, Virginia House of Delegates. When I ran for this office, I publicly took a pledge that I would stand between the law-abiding citizens of Warren County and enforcement of any unconstitutional overreaching gun laws. I know this is the choir, and I'm preaching to the choir, but there are some proposals before the current General Assembly that go further than anything else we've seen anywhere. I'm drawing your attention to Senate Bill 16. which has the most all-encompassing definition of an assault weapon that anybody has ever seen. A centerfire pistol that holds more than 10 rounds is an assault weapon under Senate Bill 16. You thought assault weapons were talking about the big scary black guns. No, it's almost any firearm in your gun safe, in your house, in your car. This is a drastic change in our approach in Virginia, and it is a dangerous change, as Representative Gilbert said. And this bill is not proposed by some marginal crank. This bill is proposed by Senator Richard Saslaw, who is the new Senate Majority Leader. And we are counting on folks like Michael Webert here, Todd Gilbert, Chris Collins, to be a strong voice in the General Assembly. I am counting on them because this is an issue that I plan on sticking my neck out. I am glad to hear that the Board of Supervisors has got a consensus in favor of that resolution, because I promise you that there will be pushback on this if bills like these pass. I have been told in meetings with other Commonwealth attorneys that there are already writs of mandamus being drawn up in Richmond to force sheriffs and prosecutors to enforce these laws. I have been told that there are recall petitions being drafted, ready to be served on those who will not enforce these laws. I plan on sticking my neck out, and that neck may be over a chopping block. So tonight, I am asking that you show up tomorrow when it counts for the Warren County Board of Supervisors, that you show them their support, that you let them know that the citizens are behind their efforts to protect your liberties. What we're dealing with here is two different visions of what it means to be a citizen. Back in the 1700s, our founding fathers in the state of Virginia and in the United States had a crazy, wild, new, radical vision. That power flowed from the bottom up. That authority rested in the normal, ordinary citizen. That an ordinary citizen could stand up to the strongest powers in the world if they were armed. And there's nothing that's happened in recent years that's changed my mind about that. We have seen over the last half century with the strongest militaries in the world have had to stop short in the face of a peasant farmer with a modern rifle. What this legislation is trying to take away is the citizens' right to say no and to back it up. That's what it means to be a free American, that you and your neighbors can band together and say no and make that stick. The issue is, are you a citizen or are you a client and a customer? There are people out there who look at the ordinary folks and they don't see free men and women who can stand their own ground, who have authority in their own lives. They see potential clients and potential customers. And that's all they are. And you manage clients and you manage customers and you don't trust them with complicated machinery. Are you clients? Are you customers? Are you children? Or are you free men and women? Free men. And if you are free men and women, show up tomorrow night and say so. Thank you.
Stephen, you got a couple points you're going to bring up?
I have a couple of short statements here from town council members that couldn't be here tonight. They had their meeting. This is from Gary Gillespie. Says, good evening, everyone, and thank you for showing up tonight to support every law-abiding citizen's right to keep and bear arms. Sorry I could not attend tonight's rally because of Town Council's scheduled session. But rest assured, I support this resolution to let the General Assembly and the Governor's Mansion know that we will not sit idly by and let them strip your Second Amendment rights from us. Thank you and God bless. I have another statement from Jake Meza, Town Council member. Thank you for coming out to let your voices be heard. Although I am unable to attend this rally in person tonight, I want everyone to know that I completely support our right to bear arms and plan to represent our town tomorrow at the Board of Supervisors meeting. Furthermore, I want our elected officials for the state of Virginia, most especially Governor Northam, to hear our rally in opposition to any measures that restricts, reduces, or diminishes our Second Amendment right. Our state does not have the authority to strip our constitutional freedom to own a gun to defend ourselves, and any effort to do so can be considered an act of aggression by the state. Please keep writing your elected representatives to let them know your opposition. Thanks again for showing up tonight and supporting one of our greatest freedoms, Councilman Meza, Town of Front Royal.
Really quickly, I'd just like to add, after I made the announcements about the Warren County, Virginia 2A shirts, we sold out, which is a good thing, but we need to sell more. And if you'll note the bright, obnoxious yellow, it's so we stand out. So I'm placing another order for shirts and bumper stickers. Get with me after this to get your name on the list, and I'll make sure I order enough for you in your sizes. Sorry about that, Webert. You definitely need one. And like I said, or you can message the Warren County Republican Committee's Facebook page to place an order. I'll be monitoring that as well. Lastly, and most importantly from me, it is extremely important to note that this blue canopy to my left, your right likely, is where you can go to register to vote. Because for months and years, we've pleaded to come out and vote and let your voices be heard. And unfortunately, what we have here is catching up to do from people that didn't go and do that. But we're not going to criticize you. We're going to help you register to vote tonight, and we're going to make sure that we're heard on Election Day. Right. Thank you.
Yes, again, emphasize, the fight is now. We need to get everybody in it. A couple of things I want to bring up there concerning tomorrow, and we're going to end this. Number one, the other side has started to rally. We caught them off guard, but they're now starting to rally. I will tell you this, I've actually seen several postings and messages where they're starting to come out, things that they're going to try to do. They've got people that have spoken in several different locations. You ask, aren't they supposed to be speaking at their own county? No, they're going to multiple. We're going to see who those people may be. Other things that have gone on there, they've decided that there are some places where if they get in early enough there, they're going to stack the list that may be signed for being able to speak in the public forum. We want to encourage you to get there early enough, because we got a lot of people here tonight, but I guarantee you there's going to be a whole lot of more people there tomorrow to include their side. The other part of them being there, it is their constitutional right to speak just as it is yours. Respect them from the standpoint is that we do have the media, but there are going to be people that are going to try to catch you in that moment of don't you care about whatever it may be. Don't let them fool you. Don't let them bring you into some sort of situation in which you don't appear to be, quote, reasonable. You are reasonable people. You expect your government there to do what they have always said they were going to do and protect your rights. But do not get into an altercation with them, because that's what they're going to be looking for. The other thing is, too, a reminder, you will be in a school facility. There are laws in place that you don't want to be carried inside of a school facility. So do not do something that by accident, because we know you're not going to do it. But just a reminder there. And with that being said, again, Lobby Day. I can't emphasize it enough. That is It is a fantastic time. I go every year. It's cold, but it's also warming when you see some of those speakers that will get up there. There's a whole lot of them that will be there to speak for your rights. And once you go to the first one, I guarantee you'll be coming year after year because you will understand what the fight is all about and who's with you and who's against you in this particular subject. And be safe tonight as you go home and all that. And again, thank you very much, and may God be with you in our great country. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.